Good morning, everybody. Mike Vacchi, Princetontrader.com, here with your Wednesday market webcast. All right, daily chart, and we went over this a little bit last night on the evening webcast, and there was a wrap-up after the close. If you haven't checked those out yet, check them out. They all lead into this discussion here, although this one can always stand alone every morning. We went up yesterday, and we tested the yellow line here, which is your upper Bollinger Band on the daily chart. So the high point of 2 standard deviations of price on the daily chart. So a very, very high percentage of price is contained within these 2 yellow lines. We tested the top of that. And what you ended up with here, and we'll see how the day goes, and I'll get to that. But you end up with, potentially an exhaustion, potentially the top of a multi-day rally. Doesn't mean we're going to fall off a cliff, but it certainly didn't like 2750 up there. It printed it right off of the open, and we went down basically the rest of the day. So hourly chart, there was your open. We headed lower, but what we saw last night, what we started to see during the evening webcast, but what we saw develop throughout the rest of the night was we continue to see support at the monthly pivot, just like we saw support at the monthly pivot at the close on Monday, Globex early Tuesday AM, and throughout this Globex session. So, what do the bulls need to do? They need this to not be yesterday. And what I mean by that is, sometimes in bear markets, and I don't care how far we come off the lows, this thing still has a bear market flavor to it until we work all this stuff out. Sometimes in bear markets, what price likes to do is walk up the futures and then can the regular session, okay? That's what happened yesterday. They walked it up, they dumped it in the regular session. Are we walking it up to the degree we did yesterday? No. But the dynamic I want to see, and I don't care if it happens one way or the other. If it doesn't happen, we'll be long. If it does happen, we'll be short. What I want to see for the general tone and dynamic of the tape is, are we going to get into the habit of walking up futures and then dumping things in the regular session? And to the extent that we do, are things going to start to take out prior day lows on a consistent basis? So going back to the daily chart, are we going to see, yesterday's low was 23.5. Today's low is 20 and change. Do we see a more pronounced lower low? And then are we going to see a lower low the next day, the next day, the next day? That's how these things kind of, come to intermediate tops, and you go back and you test things like the daily mid-band from above, which I think needs a test from above. You need, after all this consolidation and the breakout, a retest of where we broke out from is not out of line. And if it can do that and hold, and then the bears take out 2750 after that, that's a pretty efficient way to get the market started again. Now, that's one of a million billion scenarios, but the first thing for me is, are we going to get into the habit of walking up futures and then dumping things in the regular session? If we do, and we don't have a strong recovery off of the daily midband, if we even get there, then you're looking at more of a wide fluctuation, 200, 300 handle, back and forth, whether you want to call that a triangle or you just want to call it a range trade, or, consolidation as we get into the spring and into the summer, and some of these companies report and we see where we're at. So that's all going on. So what's going on right now? Okay, this is the 5-minute chart. I sent this annotated chart out to everybody on social. That was what was happening back here. You had your highs at the open, 2 lower highs at the regular session. They stalled. A couple of rally attempts yesterday afternoon that failed. And then I said monthly pivot was going to be in play tonight. Well, it was here. They tried it. It's holding, okay? So as we get into where we are now and where we're going to be into the open, you got the hourly mid-band here, 55.75, 5-minute mid, 61 and change. VWAP's way down here, hanging out in the 45, 40, call it 48 area. Our proprietary moving average is at 52. You can see it's trying to convert. This is daily pivot at 70.25 into support. You have the Globex high of 80.5 that, maybe that needs a look. Right now, we were short. We were short against 75 yesterday. Took a bunch of profit. I let the runner knock around last night. I got stopped out overnight. It seems to be a theme with me. I just didn't want to do a straight cover at the monthly pivot. I wanted to see if it could break. And, sometimes you take a piece of a trade and you take a flyer on it and you see if it's going to go. And this one got stopped out. So we're flat now. I have no intention of doing any room setups before the regular session. I'm going to let this knock around, let it play out, and then we'll go from there. Any pullback after the open, we're going to have to see what 2650 looks like as support. So call it 2650 to 2655, wherever this hourly mid-band happens to be. Because the one thing it's got to do, if it wants to go today, it's got to reestablish this as support. Okay? It tried here yesterday, and it just about got him back, but when it broke, that was that. It's got to hold as support. That will take the tape back up and through. If they lose it again, then the risk is we go back to monthly pivot. You lose monthly pivot, you open up a quick move to 2600. All right. Everybody have a great day. Trade them well. There'll be more stuff out on social. Look out for all of that. Take care. Come check us out. We'd love to meet you. Talk to you tomorrow. Actually, I will talk to you at the close. Follow us over on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Princetontrader. Check us out on Facebook and join us for a free trial at www.princetontrader.com. Trade them well.